Warning: the following video contains explicit language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello and welcome back to this video. Today we are once again jumping into Terry Miles's Rabbit novel. I hope everyone's making the good transition from the podcast to the novel. This is a very enjoyable novel. I like it a lot. I will admit it's no great, it's definitely not It or The Stand or Floating Dragon or anything, of that quality. But the little nostalgic video game role-play nerd that I am, those are the boxes this novel checks. So let's get into it.
There was a midnight screening of Donnie Darko at the Grand Illusion Cinema in about 20 minutes. The Venn diagram of people interested in rabbits and in Richard Kelly's sci-fi thriller from 2001 is essentially just a circle.
I love that. I see the humor in the novel is great. It's just one of those things. So I can adjust the camera a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, wrong way. I want to try to, there we go. I just want to get my open door out of my computer room door out of the frame. There we go. This is a little bit better. You gotta love that. I could have done that off screen, but well, whatever.
I said goodbye to each of the participants in turn as they collected their electronics and hurried out into the rain to catch their movie.
Seattle, it's always raining. Or that's the myth. When I was growing up, when we go to visit my mom's father in Seattle, and I don't think the 2, 3, 4 times that we went that I can remember clearly, I don't think it rained the whole entire time. I don't think I can remember being in Seattle when it's raining, to be honest with you. But that's the myth, that it's always raining in Seattle.
After the last of them had exited the arcade, I opened a small green lockbox and counted the donations. $202.
Not bad. Not bad at all. Not for donations.
Not bad. I left the magician his cut and slid the lockbox under the counter. Well, that was all kinds of bullshit. It was the voice from earlier. The man in the green military-style jacket.
The fact that she specifies green, I'm thinking Vietnam era, or maybe prior BDU, Army field jacket. That's what I'm picturing.
Beneath his jacket, he wore a thin black hoodie, which hid his face. He was playing Robotron 2084, the game Baron had been playing throughout my presentation. At some point, while people were leaving, he and Baron must have switched places.
There's no telling what Baron's up. Well, I know what Baron's up to, but I don't want to spoil it.
Where's Baron? I asked. Who? The guy who was playing this game earlier. I think he went to see Donnie Darko. Of course he did. Baron couldn't be bothered to pay attention while I talked about rabbits.
You gotta love that, friends.
But he'd be more than happy to pay $7 to see a movie he's seen at least 80 times.
I have a few movies that I watch on a regular basis that I guarantee my wife feels the same way about.
Not bad, the man said, nodding toward the screen. I moved closer and saw the score. It wasn't bad at all. It was much higher than Baron could have managed, and Baron was the best Robotron player any of us had ever seen.
Yeah, we're still setting things up. It'll probably be a couple more videos before we actually kick off into the story proper.
I used to play these things all the time. At this point, the man in the green jacket turned around and slipped off his hoodie. I recognized him immediately. There are two things worth noting here. Number one, the man playing Robotron in the Magician's Arcade, the man who'd asked me if I knew Alan Scarpio, was the famous reclusive billionaire philanthropist and alleged winner of the 6th iteration of Rabbids. Alan fucking Scarpio.
Yeah, that's gotta kind of suck.
The second thing worth noting is that although I'd mentioned earlier that I knew Alan Scarpio, I'd never met him before in my life.
Oopsie! Gonna have to explain that one out.
I need your help, he said. What for? I replied. Something is wrong with Rabbids, and I need you to help me fix it. And with that, Alan Scarpio went right back to playing his game.
That is the kind of behavior that I would expect from somebody with that kind of green on hand.
Chapter 2. So what? It's a fucking woodpecker. In case you're wondering, my name is Kay. That's it. Just Kay. One letter. Two things I'll tell you.
All right. Hopefully we get back around to her in Scorpio.
First, K is short for something. And second, I'll never tell you what that something is.
You gotta love somebody like that.
You'll just have to find a way to cope with that disappointment. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest, a place that, at the time, I considered the wettest and loneliest corner of the earth.
Like I was saying earlier in this video, all the times when we went to visit my mom's father in Seattle, I don't remember it raining, but it was in like June, July, after school was out, so I don't know. I don't think with what's going on with the climate now that it's quite living up to its raining all the time mythos.
A place that, many years later, I would romanticize as a kind of dark, green, gloomy world of ancient secrets and hidden lives.
I think we all kind of, wherever we're living, especially if we're at peace where we're living, we kind of build in our own little head canon, these kind of crazy things.
In a place that I now see as a kind of perfectly disturbing amalgamation of all of those things. I'm old enough to remember cabinet video games in arcades, but young
Yes.
enough to have trouble recalling a time without the internet.
I can recall a time without the internet very clearly. I can also recall a time of the modem in which you had to physically plug your phone into. And I can also remember 14 4K modems and that annoying internet dial-up and computer screeching sound.
As a child, my parents believed I had what's called an eidetic memory, a remarkable ability to retain images, words, and patterns in extensive detail. Back then, they used the term photographic memory,
Which is a misnomer.
which is inaccurate. Photographic memory doesn't exist, and even if it does, I didn't have it. I was just able to remember certain things, picture them clearly, and recall them later.
To a certain degree, everybody has an eidetic memory. It's whether or not you can consciously access it. People with a really good ability to consciously access their memory, their eidetic side of their memory, is rare. Then you have a little slightly less rare but not common. You have people that smells, sounds, things will trigger memories, will trigger crystal clear, like it just happened memories. Then most people, the large majority, get it in dreams or other methods will kick, there are other stimuli that will kick off those very intense, very detailed memories. Whereas the people with the sight, sound, smell can focus it, go, oh, cinnamon, that reminds me of blah, 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 or blah, 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 or even da, 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 da. And they can, go, oh. Whereas the most common thing, they'll hit that smell or that sound or something, and it'll pull up one memory. Boom. The first, you smell cinnamon, first time you ate churros or whatever, Then the very rare group who can go, oh yeah, I got I got me an order of churros here on November 4th, 1973. I was 5 years old and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, those people are rare. But technically speaking, we all have an eidetic memory. It's just our ability to consciously access it.
I couldn't remember everything, just stuff connected to patterns I found interesting. It wasn't a math trick, although I may have been able to drop a box of toothpicks on the floor and tell you how many there were.
Nope, can't do that. Wished I could.
You weren't getting the square root of anything from me.
Yeah, I've said it many times in many videos. Me and the maths don't get along.
Because I was the kid who could remember weird shit, I was occasionally able to distract a couple of the angry bullies in my class, long enough to make them forget to kick my ass, but that only worked about 50% of the time.
As most things do like that.
A percentage that quickly plummeted to 0 when I reached high school, and the ability to focus on details and pick out complex connections became less of an occasional act of self-preservation and more of an obsession.
Yes, plus puberty. That makes people mean. So, I think we've reached a good place to pause to our next video. And everybody out there, have a good day. Be a good human. Be good to other humans. Peace.
Hey, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?